Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy StudioPlug, and in this video I will be showing you guys the 10 tips you guys should know on FL Studio. But before I get started, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as I drop a lot of insightful videos on FL Studio for producers. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this video. So the first tip I'm gonna start off with is the autosave feature. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's just autosaving your project. So you just go to the options up here, go to file settings, and right here it has autosave. If you guys don't have it on, then you guys are not gonna be able to have your files backed up in case it crashes. If you have a good PC like I do, the chances of crashing is gonna be rarely, but it's still gonna happen. I have a Razer top edge laptop, still crashes from time to time. I have two MacBooks, still crashes, and on my PC that actually is like stronger than both of my laptops or all three of my laptops, still crashes from time to time. So in order to prevent that, just go to occasionally every 10 minutes. That's what I have it set to, and that's what prevents my files from being destroyed after I'm done recording. So the next tip I'm gonna suggest is actually an app. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull it up quick. It's called IL Remote, and this is actually from Image Line themselves. So it is IL Remote, and what it is, it's pretty much a MIDI piano if you guys don't have a MIDI piano, but it does so much more. So as soon as you pull up the app, this is the way it's gonna be looking like. So this is how the app looks like. And if you click on FL Studio, you're gonna get to this area here, and all those buttons are pretty much all the features up here. So let me just go on my mouse, everything up here. So if I were to push play right here, you'll see that it starts playing. If I push stop, it stops from the beginning. If I click record, it turns the recording knob on. Anyway, there's also the feature on the top where you can click on the piano and it shows you this, and it's just pretty much a MIDI piano on your keyboard. If you play it, it just plays automatically, so it's right to the point. It works fast. And also there's another feature called harmonic grid, and it takes you to this area, and if you can see on the sides, it shows scales. You can click on any of those scales, and all those little buttons that you see that are lettered named are actually the piano keys. So if you click on any of the letters, you're just pressing all the keys that are in that scale. So it's a really good feature FL Studio came up with. And in order to connect it, all you have to do is go to your MIDI, enable Image Line Remote, and that's it. As fast as that. And you got to make sure you do have Wi-Fi around your house, because this connects via Wi-Fi. Anyway, moving on to the third step. For this step is going into the envelope. So let me pull out a sound quick. I'm gonna get two sounds out just so I could demonstrate this fast. So this tip is good if you guys are new and don't want your 808s to overlap. Just go into the 808 itself, click on the instruments envelope. Within here, you can see the attack. Just bring it down, bring the hold up, the decay, the sustain, and the release, and that's gonna make your key stop as soon as you cut it off. So if I press on the key, let go, it doesn't have a tail anymore. So it just keeps going, and it will happen to overlap. And if you don't want this enabled and you just don't want it to overlap also, just click on cut itself. And another feature is if you have a perk and you want to make a different type of sound, all you have to do is listen to the sound. You can bring down the pitch. Let's bring it down one whole octave by bringing it down 12 semitones, and we'll reverse it. Start the length a little bit sooner. And now it sounds like this. So you can add those extra effects in your beats if you guys want it to stand out and sound different. Using different type of sounds, you guys can just create your own this way. So it's a really good way of working around things. So my next tip is going to be quick render, or saving your files into a WAV format. So let me go ahead and pull out a piano so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to pull up a MIDI just to get this done quick. So I know a lot of you guys like to sample, and you guys don't want to do the whole Edison process. It just takes too long. So if I have my melody down right here, And this also helps if your VST is having all those crackle sounds and you just don't want all that CPU to be used up from your VST. Just make sure that you push Control and click this little green knob so it silences it out. Go up to this drop down arrow where the pattern is. Click on Quick Render as Audio Clip. And just like that, it renders your file into a WAV file. And now you have it here. And then another tip is you can go ahead and reverse it. So there's a lot of ways of going around with this. So that will be another tip for you guys. So you guys don't have to drag it into Edison and do the whole recording process, cutting it up if you guys don't know how to use the regions or any of those stuff. Anyway, moving on to the next tip. So if you guys are new to FL Studio, you guys probably won't know certain things. So if you just got FL Studio or just any program for the matter, there's a VST called Grow Speed. And if you don't have the VST half speed, you can always use Grow Speed on FL Studio. So let me go ahead and enable it. So I have Grow Speed open. Let's go to the presets, momentary, and we have this thing called half speed. So this is great for producers for half speeding their projects. And it gives them that 808 Mafia, TM88 type of sound, Metro Boomin. So let me go ahead and play it. So it's half speeding it. If I bring the pitch up of the sample, it'll sound like this. And if I remove Grow Speed, so it just gives that different unique sound. Anyway, moving on to the next tip. So this next tip comes in really handy. I know a lot of you guys already know about the Grow Speed, half speed, and probably some of the features I've already said. But like I said, this is good for beginners. And if you guys didn't know about IO Remote, I kind of introduced you guys to that also. So those are pretty good things right there. You know, if you guys have been using FL Studio for a while, because ImageLine doesn't really promote it. And as I've seen their views, they don't really have that much views for it. So I might be doing a tutorial for it also, because IO Remote gets down. But let me go on this drop down arrow. And once you're in your piano roll for your main piano sound, click on this arrow and go to helpers and scale highlighting. So what this is going to do, it's going to enable you to stay within a scale. So the scales I'm going to recommend is the major, minor harmonic, minor melodic, and minor natural aeolian. Those are the scales you should probably stay in within most. Also the major, always use the major. The major is always good. And if you highlight one of them, you can just right click it. So if you want a major scale, regular major scale is already on the same scale that, or the default notes, default chords. And if you go to minor harmonic, you're going to see that the highlighted notes in the background are changing. If I go to natural aeolian, you're going to see that the notes change. And you can create a quick melody just by clicking a note. Could even highlight the bottom notes, bring them up, control up, moving out to the side, scroll it in so it's not overlapping or getting any extra release. So that's a quick tip right there. Anyway, let's move on to the next tip. So this next tip is pretty vital, I believe, because this is going to save a lot of time if you guys are new to FL Studio, and this is going to help you guys out in the long run. So let me bring the melodies back. What I'm going to do with this melody is I'm going to put it into its own channel. So it's on channel 2, as you guys can see the knob right here. And if you guys don't have that little knob, you guys can also go right here and see that it's on track 2. Track 2 meaning it's on the channel 2 of the mixer rack. Once you're in the mixer rack, we can go ahead and EQ. So EQing will be part of the tip, but it's not the main step that I'm going to be demonstrating, because EQ, you can find that in any tutorial. So let me go ahead and play it and start EQing it. So now let's say I like that preset there. So in order to make sure that your presets are working good on your channel rack, is you always got to make sure that your last channel is the one that you want to be superb overall. So you always want the EQ to be last, because if you have a reverb right after the EQ, then you're going to see some of this. Watch, check this out. You see this reverb here. Let me bring some more reverb. Make it more wet. So that's how the EQ looks like right there. But if I bring another EQ, you're going to see that there's more noise. Because now this reverb is over the parametric EQ. So if I were to put a distortion before it, let's say for instance, so I'm gonna lower the volume for you guys, so it's not too loud. So that's pretty much how it sounds. But if I bring the reverb before the fast distortion, the pretty fast distortion, then the distortion is going to have power over the reverb, and it's going to distort the whole reverb sound also. So then it's going to sound like this. So now the distortion is now the reverb is being distorted. So that's why if you don't want that to happen, you bring the reverb underneath it, and anything else that you want last is the way it's going to be organized. So this does matter. Anyway, the next step. So this next step is going to save you a lot of time. So say you love this preset here that was just created. Well, now that you know that it's for a piano and it gives it more of that chorus feel, just right click it, rename it, piano, chorus, right click it again, go to file, save mixer state as, and then from here you can save it to whatever you feel like. Say whatever name you feel like. I'll name it piano chorus, and now that I have it saved, I can just go to my mixer presets, and whenever I feel like, I can just go to the piano chorus and just drag it up, and it'll be right here. So that's gonna save a lot of time in the long run. Trust me, if I would have known this a long time ago, I would have been saved a lot of presets by then, but I'm just starting now. Within the past year actually, so I have a couple presets of my own now. But for yourself, to save you guys time, you guys can go ahead and do that. Anyway, let's move on to the next step. All right, so this last step that I really want to show you guys is that velocity on the notes matter a lot. So I've done this a couple times, and a lot of people suggest that velocity only determines the volume, but that is not the case for velocity. So velocity kind of determines a lot of the cutoff also. So it can remove a lot of the highs, and it can even bring a lot of the highs. So if I bring my piano up, it's going to sound like it's playing sharper. And that's sort of saying like you're hitting the piano and going hard. And if you do that on a real piano, you're going to hear the sharpness to it. If I bring the velocity down, then that's bringing the softness into it, and it's going to sound a lot more smoother. So even if I bring up the volume, it's still going to sound different than bringing the velocity up, because now it sounds a lot more softer. So velocity does matter a lot. As you guys can see, it has a bigger impact than just volume, because it's really not a volume knob. It's more like I would say kind of like a softness knob. I would say EQ, but EQ wouldn't even make your sound soft. It would just EQ it, and you can even still hear some of the hardness in it. And this works a lot for bass plugs also, because if you have a bass plug velocity up, it's going to have a lot of air, a lot of highs, and a lot of that static. If you bring it down, it's going to sound so soft, and it's not going to even sound like it's going to have so much static, and it'll sound like a regular bass plug. But that is pretty much all my tips for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like, comment, subscribe, and give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys like to see next, and let me know what you guys thought of this video. Anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
DJ Vibe, StudioPlug.